I wanted to give the new update a week or two to settle before putting my initial thoughts about it out there. I think it's been long enough at this point, so what do I think? Well, let's just take it from the top. The new banner, not new banner, but rerun banner, with Zhongli, glad to have a rematch. I pulled Chi-Chi last time he was available, and was very sad and didn't end up getting him, and I got him this time around, and he's a very good, if you're holding on to your Primo Gems for a good character, you have the green light from me. Go get Zhongli if you want. He's very, very good. On his banner, we have Yanfei, a brand new character, Diona, one of my favorite 4 stars in the game, and Noelle, who is also here. Speaking of Yanfei, she's a 4-star Pyro Catalyst DPS character. I only really played her in the character demo because, quite frankly, I don't have the resources to level her up, but from what I played, she seems pretty fun. A welcomed addition to the roster, and if you're looking for a good DPS character and you're still in the early game, definitely a good thing to pick up. New addition, characters now comment on the weather. When you have them out in the overworld, when they say their little one-off lines, they'll now use their comments on the weather voice lines. This is a very nice change, something I asked for when I first started playing. I cannot confirm if they comment on the time of day. I haven't noticed it, but if not, then yo. There's another addition. Another one, as well as the time of day that I'd like to see, is characters commenting on other party members that you're using. Like if you have Diona and Diluc both on the fields, they can comment about each other and use those voice lines. We have these voice lines in the game, we might as well use them. Zhongli has a new story quest, Act 2. It was alright. The beginning was really long, trying to track down the miners, and then leading up to the boss fight felt very, very rushed. Then post-boss fight went back to being very, very long, just a lot of dialogue. I think Azhdaha could have had a lot more build-up. Instead, he just kind of comes out of nowhere. The story spends so much time on, where are the miners? They disappeared. Where'd they go? We're on their trail. They went this way. They're over here. Jesus Christ, it's a dragon. Fight the dragon! Okay, you beat the dragon. Now we're gonna explain why the dragon was here in the first place. The end. It feels like time was spent in the wrong places, and Azhdaha could have been a really cool fight with some better build-up. But I know most people just skip through the story anyways, so that's just me. Let's talk about the fight with Azhdaha itself. He's the newest weekly boss, and the mechanics force you to use a shield character. But Zhongli, Diona, and Noelle are all shield characters. They're all on the banner right now. Plus, you get a free Diona with the event that's going on, and you get a free Noelle when you start the game, so everybody who's playing right now should have a shield character. I like the fight. It's not the hardest thing in the world. I know I saw some people saying that it's the hardest. I think Child might be slightly more hard, difficult, whatever, but it's still a welcomed addition. All weekly bosses, not just Azhdaha, all the rest too, can drop a new item called Dream Solvent. It lets you convert boss materials that you use for leveling up talents into different drops that you would get from that same boss. It can be done at a crafting bench like you would Dust of Azoth to convert crystals into different elements. So if you're like me and you keep getting Dvalin's size, even though you don't use any characters that use it, there you go. You get one for free by completing the new Zhongli story quest, and the rest can drop from weekly bosses. Speaking of weekly bosses, a big change. The first 3 weekly bosses that you fight after reset on Monday will only cost 30 resin instead of 60. I am very relieved that this is the case, because if it wasn't, we would be spending 240 resin, about 2 days worth, on these bosses every week. There's a new overworld boss, not a weekly one, the Cryo Hypostasis. I like this fight the most in the game right now. I think this is probably the most fun boss fight, as well as the hardest. Harder than some of the weekly ones, in my opinion. Although, that might just be because I'm bad. It introduces a very fun mechanic, which I won't spoil here for those who want to figure it out themselves. Yanfei story quest is very long. It's not too interesting either. It was just kind of a segue that people were speedrunning through, and myself included, just skip through the dialogue. We had to get through it to get the Serenitea Pot. Speaking of the teapot, that is probably the biggest addition to this update. I have a whole other previous video on it. Link to that is on screen now. So I'm not going to go over how it works. You can go watch that previous video instead. What I want to talk about is that the teapot is a very, very slow burn. This is not something that you're gonna get on and complete, get your housing done all how you want within the first week. This is designed to be around for a while. Need any evidence? Just craft anything, and see how long it takes to craft. You can speed this up with some speed up bottles. I'll talk more about that in a second. But this is designed to keep you around for a while. Some quick advice on optimizing your time here. Early on, within your first couple of trust ranks, I'd say up until you get to trust rank 4, use all of your speed up bottles as long as you're crafting an item for the first time. Craft as many items as you can, as fast as you can, and place everything to get your Adeptal energy up as high as you can. The Energy Amplifier event is this update's big event. I'm not going to go into detail on how the event works, but it's pretty straightforward. I think the event is fun. In the overworld part, the enemies are really powerful, which encourages you to avoid combat until the empowering stones are destroyed. This offers you the choice of sneaking in and destroying the stones, or just rushing through the chaos and trying to break them while you're getting attacked from all angles. It's a lot of fun. I'd like to see more stuff like this, especially the stuff that encourages stealth play, which is what I've been doing. It's a lot of fun sneaking in and out between these enemies, trying to get in, destroy the stones, get out, and then once they're all gone, then you rush in and try and take out all the enemies. Really liking this part. You do this to earn crystals, which you put into the Energy Amplifier to give your team buffs. You can freely optimize this to benefit your team's strengths. Want to use that Zhongli you pulled? Optimize it for shield bonuses. You can pretty much freely change this to match your team the best. You can also alter the domain itself by adding modifiers. The harder you make it, the more points you get for completing it. Similar to the Hypostasis event from 1.3? No, 1.2. Something else that I definitely didn't forget to talk about, and am now recording this while I'm editing the video, is a new domain and artifacts. The domain itself is pretty standard, just 2 Geoviships, at least on the highest difficulty. Just kill them and claim your rewards. The Lee-Line Disorder is also fairly simple. It recommends that you bring Geo, but the Lee-Line Disorder only affects shield characters, so you don't actually need to bring a Geo. If you have Diona or someone, then you're all set. The artifacts themselves, 2 new sets. Tenacity of the Millilith. 2-piece set gives you plus 20% HP, and 4-piece set says, when an elemental skill hits an opponent, the attack of all nearby party members increases by 20%, and their shield strength is increased by 30% for 3 seconds. This effect can be triggered once every 0.5 seconds. This effect can be triggered even when the character who uses the artifact is not on the field. So this would be a really good set for Zhongli. You could also use the 2-piece set on characters who scale with their HP, like Barbara or Diona. And the second new artifact set is Pale Flame. 2-piece set is physical damage increases by 25%, and 4-piece set is when an elemental skill hits an opponent, attack increased by 9% for 11 seconds. This effect stacks up to 2 times, can be triggered once every 0.3 seconds. Once 2 stacks are reached, the 2-piece set bonus increases by 100%. So the physical damage bonus increases by 50 instead of 25%, while your attack increases by 18 to 27%. The Spiral Abyss has received some updates. Floors 9 and 10 are relatively unchanged. Floor 11's Electro Burst Draining effect has been replaced with the Hydro Skill Slowing. Floor 11, Chamber 3 features 2 Hydro Abyss Heralds. Overall, Floor 11 is now easier than it was before. Floor 12, Chamber 1 now features 1 Geovishap and 2 Whopper Flowers of alternating elements, depending on the half that you're on. Floor 12, Chamber 2, second half, now features a bunch of Hydro Mimics, and that might be the hardest floor on the entire Spiral Abyss. Floor 12, Chamber 3, first half, now features 2 Electro Abyss Heralds, which are new enemies. This is definitely the hardest version of Spiral Abyss that we've seen so far. There is a discussion on if the whales with their C6 Ganyus and max refinement 5-star weapons demanding more difficulty is going to punish the free-to-play players who can't keep up with them. I don't think that this Spiral Abyss has crossed that line, but it might be something worth keeping an eye on. Battle Pass changes is the last thing on the list. Overall, we're getting more points each week than what we were last update. By not a lot, but by a couple hundred. Overall, I think this update is strong. I mean, it's certainly not weak. I've been enjoying it more than I did the last update with the Windbloom Festival and stuff, and I'm getting this strong feeling that the story is going to get a major push forward relatively soon. I'd put it below 1.2 and above 1.3. I'll likely have another video towards the end of the update, before 1.6 releases, focusing on everything that is yet to come out as of this video, namely Eula and the minor events like the hide and seek and stuff. That is all, and thank you so much for watching.